Dzień dobry.
Good afternoon. I'll keep it very brief. Krzysztof kept saying, why? Well, let me give you an answer. Why? Well, for the money. I'm not sure why Krzysztof didn't say that. It's a pleasure to be here. What we would like to do today is to share our experience from the digitization of the process of signing a leasing agreement. Now, some history to start with, not very distant history. What is paperless? Now, in the past, paperless was just a buzzword. It was something that we would talk about to our employees, but now it has become a reality. And there have been some milestones. Now, the first thing for many companies was the e-invoice. It was, again, about the money. It was about cutting costs. And that was the main objective in introducing the electronic invoice or e-invoice. But then it turned out that the results were much bigger than the original objectives. The payments process was faster. Any duplicate processing process was faster. There were fewer calls on our hotline, better access to information, and Santander Leasing got to 96% paperless invoices. And then we had to put our own things in order. First of all, we took away most of the printers from our employees. We then introduced an internal electronic document flow process. We had an app called Signer. It was a dedicated app for our group, and a qualified digital signature was introduced, a digital stamp, the verification of signatures, and all that sort of stuff. So most of our resolutions, reports, orders, and documents of that sort are part and parcel of this app. And basically, we use this app for 80% of all our documents. So we are using less and less paper. And in March 2020, when the pandemic began, that helped us a lot, because we suddenly had to switch to working remotely, but we were prepared for that. Now, our teams mobilized very quickly. It only took a few weeks for us to send the COVID-related annexes to the agreements to all of our customers using this eBOK 24 app and the qualified signature. Over 20,000 annexes were signed paperless and sent to the customers paperless. Then we sped up with our leasing agreements. It was a very comprehensive service that we made available last year. Over 220 leasing advisors are now certified PPT operators, so they issue these qualified signatures to the customers. They had to break through the sort of mental barriers. They had to show them how to install the app on the phone and how to sign this Simply Sign enabled agreement on the website. But we wanted more than that, and we came up with this idea of something that would combine manual and digital signature, and we called it biosignature. Meetings like these were organized in Szczecin in the past. There was the FP conference, and it's a great place, not just to exchange information and experiences, but also to get inspired. And this biometrical signature, as we call it, was inspired to a large extent by the talks and conversations we had as part of those FP conferences, which were predecessor to this conference. Now, these are challenges. I'm not saying these are challenges for you. These were challenges for me. You know much better what it's all about in terms of trusted services and digital signatures, digital technology. But let's remember that everything we do in this respect is for the people who are not here in the room. The customers, the business people, someone who's buying a car through a leasing agreement, or someone who's leasing a machine. We also have to persuade someone who's registering a car, the car dealer who has to hand the car over, and so on and so forth. So the challenge was even bigger for us. One of the previous speakers said they had problems getting this through with the signature in the legal department. Now, in our case, it was simple because I'm the one in charge of the legal department, so it was easier. But there were some barriers inside the company, and Professor Szostak mentioned many times that it doesn't matter if you're right. What matters if you can prove it. So it's the same with the bio-signature. That was exactly the case.
So we had to make sure, and we were convinced internally that when you sign an agreement on the tablet, it's still a signature. But how to prove to all the customers, to all the offices, to dealers, to stakeholders that this signature is the right solution, because otherwise it has to be done in writing, otherwise the agreement will be invalid. So in order to prove that someone signed this agreement personally, we didn't want the agreement to be undermined, its validity to be undermined. It will be a white and black picture. The agreement would be invalid if we couldn't prove that. So these were our challenges, but we were very systematic. If you have some demons in there, you have to kill them. So you have to discuss things, you have to come to a conclusion, and you have to prove that if a signature put on the electronic device, a tablet, this signature will have all the credentials and attributes that mean that it is the same as handwritten signature. We are part of the Santander Group. We are the leasing fund, and we have a very high reputational standard. So if the project failed, it would be very detrimental to the reputation. So we wanted to build the environment around that, and you want to prove it to the environment. And among us, we have consultants, experts who helped us. Professor here, Michał over there. Thank you, guys. You helped us a lot. We also reviewed our internal processes during previous presentations. We could also learn about that. You feel like a lease agreement is a simple agreement, but you have to add insurance, not only lease a car. If you send a PDF file, you cannot look over it again because it will not be returned. You first negotiate the agreement and then you send the file to the customer, and he or she looks at it, and it has to be negotiated before the biometric signature is put on it. So we needed resources, we needed experts, we needed IT solutions, we needed hardware. We had to replace all the notebooks, computers, desktops for our sales force so that we could create the environment that fulfills all the standards. And at the end, it made sure that this signature is valid. It also meant awareness raising among employees within the company, but also outside, among the surrounding, that it is possible, and then it becomes a paperless solution. What is a biometric signature, as we called it? It was this simple connotation that if you put a sign on the electronic device, you leave a biometric imprint. So we kind of decided that this signature has all these attributes similar to the handwritten signature on a piece of paper. Another issue is that we eliminated the use of paper. We cannot boast of such examples as colleagues from Polsat, but we're also proud of our paperless solution. It also means facilitation of transactions and execution of agreements. We create the documents. This is a seamless process. We can control this, and the entire process takes minutes. I haven't mentioned it yet, but after we went through legal department compliance, we went through the cybersecurity department as well. Can you remember there was a simple solution that you could write something on a board and then you erase it, as children had that such boards for their plays. And people were afraid that you will erase your signature or someone uses your signature using the example on the tablet that you used. So we had to make sure that these solutions were secure. So this signature put on a tablet was valid. It wouldn't be possible without technologies. As has been mentioned by Mariusz, we had to replace hardware, all the notebooks and desktops, and the screen of the device has to be in line with the registration requirements for the pressure force on the pen, for example. So there are different steps that we have to go through. The client receives the drafted agreement received by email. Our leasing advisor arranges a meeting with the client, which covers all steps of a regular meeting, and not like at the post office. The client sees documents and gets acquainted with the documents related to the lease agreement. Then the client agrees, gives his or her consent to this graphic signature under the agreement. Then there are no scanned documents, couriers. Documents get directly to our supervision system. If everything is okay, then the client uses qualified electronic signature to sign an agreement. We pay for the car, for the vehicle, we can insure it, and the documents are received by the client via email, but also the eBOK24 portal, where the documents are stored, and clients have access to their documents and can download them during the entire period of the lease agreement's term of agreement. As Magda has mentioned, I would also like to refer to what President Andrzej Doperowa said, because this is a pool of new ideas. What else can be done? We use the electronic eBOK24 portal. This is a form of a platform, and the client wonders, I receive a lot of documents, a lot of email messages, 3/4 of them are spam messages. You have an email message, and it is a type of a copy, but we also inform the client that there is a portal and you can always have access to your documents. Biometric signature. At the end of the day, we are convinced to these paperless solutions, and our clients are convinced about their use as well. But in the case of a dispute, how do you proceed? Police department has recorded a video material about biometrics, and you can listen to why electronic signature is more secure than paper-based handwritten signature. But some people are afraid that this signature can be used multiple times. Therefore, we cooperate with ASECO. That's why we have seals, we have qualified signatures which cannot be hacked without a trace. Only if the court allows us, we can break this seal. So we have our internal constitution, so-called, which is signed in an electronic way. We have it written in detail what criteria the document has to be in line with, to be binding. So we signed it electronically, and we would always prove that we have the Constitution, and we sign it with an electronic signature in order to prove in the court that this is what we did, and we trust e-signatures. In January this year, this solution became available to our clients and advisors. 50% of agreements are signed by biometric signature or planned for such signature. You can see data as of April this year. This is the most recent data. What does it mean? It means that our clients have no fears as regards the usage of this type of signature, and people are convinced that it is in line with their expectations. It saves time of agreement processing, which reduced by 50%. So this is a 50% level time saving, and it became a natural process. We didn't succeed alone. We had wonderful partners, so the synergy effect can be achieved only when you cooperate with partners. So cooperation with extension is perfect, and they provide us with the framework that we apply. This is not our first project with ASECO and Aileron, which offers client servicing solutions, and we unite this solution. And ASECO is a website that offers the seal and confirms the biometric signature that a client signs an agreement with. So it is a seamless process that we offer our clients. So we use the biometric signature, and that's not it. ESG is not only a buzzword. It means that this is an eco solution. We're not going to cut trees. We will unite digital elements, environmentally friendly solutions, and such aspects that fight fears that our clients or us have. Thank you for inspiration, and we are waiting for more.